reason not to. You know, until somebody is supposed to do something for you and they choose not to.
You're saying most people trust people until they have a reason not to.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
And what about tolerance? What can we do to improve tolerance between people?
I don't know. That's the hard one. You know, I think people mostly are tolerant until something happens to change that.
Right.
You know,
something like an outside
negative
factor or something like
negative happens to change that tolerance.
But does it change? Like, do you think it changes their perspective? Like, say for example, some of the stuff we've seen with cops, right? You know, it's like the social image that cops get, and a lot of the heat and hate that comes from it. You know, it's like these guys are just doing their job sometimes. You know, and we've talked about it on that level too.
Sure.
Where, you know, it's like it's making a split-second decision between life and death on in a dangerous situation. You know, it's like that's it could be very emotionally stressful.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's like incredibly daunting, and then you get branded as someone that's been like that's been trained by the system to do this. You know, it's like the people aren't they're not people anymore. They're machines of the system, right?
Yeah.
They're not human because they've gone to like cop academy. You know, but that's not the case.
No, it's not. I've known and met cops that I didn't like because I thought that they were cruel.
Sure.
You know, that they enjoyed
Power.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah. But the majority of the police that I worked with over the years and stuff like weren't that way at all. But there's, you know, the system is not perfect, and they hire people that should never
We all do that.
put
though.
on a badge.
We all do that though.
Sure.
Like, no, maybe not a badge, but like that we want in our system. You know, it's like there are gonna be delinquents out there. You know, there are
Yeah.
gonna be people with poor patterns, poor upbringing,
Lack
you know,
of
like lack of
patience.
patience, or yeah, you know, it's like, but it's different. The way that we're talking about it now, especially with tolerance and with mom, you know, it's like she's grown to dislike these things. You know, it's like she's grown to be less tolerant and less trustful of the things that are going on around, because we try to get, like, there's people we try to get, like, we don't try to get scammed, but we are, like, people try to scam us all the time is what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we've had so many of those things happen so recently that it's just like, damn, where of course people are fucking losing their
Patience
and tolerance and trust.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's why I asked, what can a person do on that level? Because it's the human condition that we're talking about. It's no longer about business or systems or structures or anything like that. All that shit crumbles. The only thing that's left is the person. You know, it's like even if we were to have some kind of like, God forbid, something that would break down our society, you know, some kind of cataclysm, a meteor hits the earth or something like that, you know, what's left in the aftermath, right? You know, it's like you've got the person and then the person's willingness to survive, you know, and keeping those things intact. You know, it's like through society, through good bonds, you know, it's like you have a better chance of surviving with a group of people than you do by yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless, of course, you're in The Walking Dead and you're in a zombie apocalypse or something like that. But I don't see that happening, though.
No.
And, you know, it's like a lot of people are really paranoid, and that, You know, it's like that makes me think because we have all those, like, there's a ton of imagined shit on the media, and you know, it's like we think, oh, that could possibly happen.
Yeah, it could.
Well, a lot of people say that it could, and they're like, oh, it will happen is the thing. That's the next step, you know, and that imagination just kind of it's fleeting, you know. It's like we think that these things will happen, but they probably won't. they probably won't.
Right.
As far as like a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah.
hey, the only zombies that we know are the ones that are in the little ants that are captured by the mushrooms. Have you seen those?
No.
They're real, but they don't go after and eat other ants, like cannibalizing or anything like that. That's all fake shit that's made up by the shit that's entertainment. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's something that pokes into our fear of death and fear of of the crumbling of society and all these other factors, right? But I'm curious to know, you know, it's like, what can I do to keep this structure regardless of what happens? If we have some kind of nuclear attack, if we have some kind of outbreak that would wipe out half the genetic I don't know, like the population, right? Or, you know, anything like that. Anything like that. Because the only thing stronger than the actual structures that are in place right now is the person's willingness to survive. But how does that look, and how does that look now? You know, it's like where does a person develop that type of skill set? You know,
I don't know. You know, I was a policeman in 2 different departments over 28 years. And by and large, the majority of the policemen that I worked with were good people. And they weren't cruel, but I knew some that were.
sure,
You know?
yeah,
But the problem is that the department is a fraternity. They're like college frat brothers and stuff like that. And so if you see a cop doing something that's wrong,
yeah,
what you should do is you should report them.
yeah.
But if you do,
Then you're a snitch.
then the whole rest of the department doesn't trust you anymore.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, you're between a rock and a hard place. You know, you see something that's not right. Well, if I report them, the whole rest of the department, the whole rest of the guys is not going to trust me anymore.
Yeah. Standing up for those values.
But if I don't
yeah.
report him, then this guy's
This guy's
never
gonna-
going to change.
Yeah, he's always going to be doing the same shit over and
Yeah.
over and
So it's
getting away
difficult.
with it.
It's a really difficult choice to make.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.